One of the big decisions that you need to make in designing a brainstorming process is whether you're going to use traditional sit-down face-to-face brainstorming or use one of these newly emerging tools. There's actually quite a bit of interesting academic work going on around the use of these online tools, and they really have a whole bunch of advantages. One thing that emerged in this research, and the research I'm referring to is a paper by a professor by the name of Olivier Toubia, who is now at Columbia Business School. He got his doctorate here in Boston at MIT. And he observed a bunch of things that go wrong or that are problematic in face-to-face brainstorming. One of those things is that there is always an undercurrent of politics in the room. It's just inevitable in any kind of human process. There's always posturing. There's an undercurrent of competitiveness, wanting to be the hero or kissing up to the boss's ideas, even if you didn't think they were all that good. And by going to the web, everybody can remain anonymous. They're just identified by a screen name or a screen avatar or something like that. And so that already has solved a lot of problems. Another issue that I would have never guessed is as critical as it has turned out to be is that very often the people who need to be engaged in a brainstorm are not co-located. They might be in R&D centers scattered all over the world. And the idea of bringing people together from Europe and Asia and various parts of the US is simply unrealistic and prohibitively expensive. Now, the other thing that Toubia dealt with in his research is the kind of incentives that are used to reward people in a brainstorm. And he found that there were sort of two extremes, neither of which worked terribly well. You can reward the individual who comes up with the dynamic idea, or you can reward the whole group equally. What he found was the most effective brainstorming was the phenomenon where one person would throw out an idea, and then someone would build on that, and someone would build on that, and the whole thing would just sort of roll uphill and get very, very exciting. And in his research, he dealt with the issue of, well, can I create an incentive system that encourages exactly that kind of behavior? And what he came up with, which is very clever and has turned out to be very effective, is a system where you're rewarded every time you give an idea, but you are rewarded again every time someone builds on your idea. And he has this elaborate point system where the points are actually worth a small amount of cash, where if A suggests an idea, they get a point. And then if B builds on that, B gets a point, but A gets a second point. And then if C builds on that, they get a point, B gets a second point, C gets a third point. Many people have observed that it looks a little like Amway, to which Toubia always says, yes, exactly. That's exactly what we're trying to do here. It's a kind of pyramid scheme in the reward system. Now, we've been experimenting with this and using this commercially now in a system that we've built that we call IDEALYST, that has just shown to be a great deal of fun as well as very effective in engendering people to create more and better ideas. And it's been just a great deal of fun for us as well as for the participants.